there?
No, sir, it is Department of Telecom. There is some thin difference between BSNL and Department of Telecom.
Then I'll introduce a little bit, then you can do your self-introduction, then that is better.
Yes, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
You qualified in IAS, na?
Yes, sir, IAS 2016 batch.
2016. And pass out from GVP?
Yes, 2014.
Sir, good afternoon to you all. Hope I am audible to everyone. It is a very great day, a very, very great day. Because we are having a very reputed alumni of our Gayatri Vidya Parishad. He is passed out from 2014 and he is a 2016 IES batch student. He is working in telecom industry in Shillong, and he is readily accepted to interact with you all and readily accepted to give a talk on Internet of Things. So Ganesh, on behalf of Gayatri Vidya Parishad, thank you very much for accepting our invitation to address the students. It is not only a privilege to the students to listen to you, it is a great privilege and honor to us to listen to you, because the achievement of IAS is not that easy. And first of all, congratulations to you, and my heartful congratulations to your parents for shaping you in that way. And absolutely, we are very much impressed with your growth. And now the floor is yours. Guys, say good afternoon to sir, and give a big round of applause, virtual applause to sir. Please join your hands together and give a big round of applause to sir virtually. Then he is a real role model to you all. He is the person graduated in 2014 from Gayatri Vidya Parishad, and he is the person selected in 2016. I don't know what he done from 2014 to 2016. Most probably he tremendously worked in 2014 to 2016. That's why he got IAS in 2 years time after graduation. It is a commendable achievement. So with these words, I am handing over to Ganesh. I don't want to waste much time of Ganesh. So I am handing over to Ganesh. Ganesh, go ahead, please. And once again, welcome and thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You can go ahead, please.
Thank you for the introduction, sir. And Somraj sir also joined the chat.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very much happy to address all my juniors on behalf of GVP management. And I'm very thankful for the management for giving me this opportunity. And I'm Ganesh Kumar, passed out from 2014 batch. And later I have a small introduction I want to tell on because of me. I have joined Bharat Electronics Limited in 2015. After 2 years of working in Bharat Electronics Limited, later I joined as a engineering services officer in Department of Telecom in 2016 batch. This is from that time onwards I am working in Department of Telecom. Now I am working in Shillong in the Department of Telecom. So with this introduction, I'll go through the content. What we want to learn. Okay.
Ganesh, shall I make your screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Can I make your screen visible? Your screen.
Sir, sir, are you able to see my screen?
Hello? Yes.
Oh, okay. Let us start with the introduction. The topic today we want to present is the Internet of Things, IoT. So let us go to the next slide, agenda. So this is the brief agenda of our presentation. What is the definition and its growth over the period of time, and what are its characteristics and dimensions, and how to model the IoT using layered architecture, and why we are using this IoT as of now, and what are the different applications in the real day-to-day life IoT applications, and what are the challenges in the IoT deployment, and at the same time what are the action points to be taken by companies to overcome these challenges. And the last one is the research challenges and pros and cons. Okay, let me go to the next slide. This is the one definition I want to give regarding the Internet of Things. See, so Internet is something like connection between different type of items or different type of things. So let me tell, internet connects all people, then we can call it as the internet of people. So there is some small difference between the internet and world wide web. See, World Wide Web is a information system where we can host the different type of web pages. Okay, uh, in but to access these web pages, we need one medium where we can access those web pages. That medium is called internet. So I hope you understand the difference between World Wide Web and internet. Now I am telling, internet connects all people. It means internet of people, means internetworking among the people is called internet of people. And internet connects all things, it means internet of things. So now the broad definition is internetworking of different things which are available in the present available systems. So the definition of IoT is, as you have seen here, IoT is a system of interrelated computer devices. So you have to understand the difference here. You have to understand that they are interrelated computer devices, mechanical and digital machines provided with the unique identifiers. Please understand the term unique identifier. Unique identifier. This is very much important in the entire IoT. And the computer devices shall have the ability to transfer the data over a network. Now understand the term unique identifiers. So unique identifier means, suppose let us assume in our college, what is the identity of a student? It is his roll number, right? In the same way, the computer devices or the mechanical and digital machines which are in the internet of things, they also have a unique identifier through which we can identify that item or thing. So that's and this unique identifier is generally called as IP, internet protocol address of any item, of any thing or computing device. Now I hope you understand unique identifier. This unique identifier in the IoT system is IP address. And one more important characteristics is the unique the things which are connected through the IoT system, they must have the ability to transfer the data over a network. Because in the later part of presentation, you will understand why this transfer of data over a network is important. Because see, one photograph is there here, one image I have created here. See, in the middle of the things, it was written as Internet of Things, and here Internet of Things, internetworking of things. So these things, what are the different type of things we can expect in the IoT system is, like you have seen the wearable technology like smartwatches you are using, at the same time smartphones and vehicles, home lighting, homes, appliances, consumer appliances in the home, and your music systems, personal computers, and data analytics, in-flight services, online shopping. So you have seen these all are very different items. All these are connected through the Internet of Things to provide the customer satisfaction regarding the usage of these items, how it can be used. So this I will explain one in the next slide. But you understand the Internet of Things means here things not only of people, and things comes under a wide variety of items from all of these things, like wearable technology, smart vehicles. So whatever the things which you are seeing in the physically in our world, so they all can be interconnected through a technology called Internet of Things. And when we are interconnecting all these things, they need to have a unique identifier. If they are having the unique identifier, then we can identify those thing, and we can develop the algorithm or code according to that identifier. Hope you
Ganesh,
understand.
Ganesh, sorry to interrupt. Please select slideshow.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Ganesh. Yes, Ganesh.
Okay. Yeah. We will go to the next slide. Now see the growth of IoT in the from 2003 onwards. See the color coding which I have given is green for the number of people in the world, and red color is for the number of things which we can connect through the internet of system in the world. So let us this whatever the x-axis whatever the x-axis I have given, this is for the year, and the y-axis is count I have mentioned, but this count is just on a representation purpose. But I want to show you the how the growth has been developed over a period of time, and how it has outreached the number of people in the world. See, in the 2003, number of people are more than the more than the number of things. But however, from moving from 2003 to 2010, the number of things have increased. In the same time, 2015 it has increased, and in the 2020 it has far more increased. The number of things have increased more, almost double than the number of people all over the world. And presently, it was expected in 2025 the number of IoT devices may come around 50 billion IoT devices. It was a very far-reaching technology. This is the regarding growth of the IoT in the over a period of time from 2003 to 2020. Now I'll show the what are the different characteristics of IoT. The first characteristic I want to emphasize is very large scale. See, in the earlier slide I have shown the difference between the number of people and number of things. See, if you consider a family in your locality, you are having very different in one family or in one home, you have very different type of items like smartphone. One smartphone for each people, for each one for each individual, and later you are having the consumer electronics like smart watch, smart TV, and refrigerators, and many other digital items which they can use it as a unique identifier, and they can be connected to the IoT system. So the scale was very huge. This is one of the characteristics of very large scale. And I have told that it was coming around 50 billion around 2025. So you can understand the very large scale of things are being embedded into this system. Second is the heterogeneity. The meaning of heterogeneity is different type of items. Like if in the earlier slide, I have given the different type of things which can be connected through IoT. It is varying from the even in your home, it is varying from smartphone to in-flight services. Like in the flights also, we can use the IoT items. So there are various type of application which I will cover later. So all these things, like in a smartphone, you can use one technology, and in some other flights you are using another technology. So they are having different type of technologies, but all these are connected through the heterogeneity. All these are connected to the IoT using the different type of protocols which are developed in due course of time. This is the meaning of heterogeneity. And the third one is the pervasivity. See, pervasivity means the existence of any item or thing which are using an IoT at any time and any place. This is one of the main characteristics of IoT, which we are to discuss in the next slides. Pervasivity. And these are the fourth is computing characteristic. Computing and communication technology will be embedded in our environment. So if you consider how the connected machines will communicate between each other, so there will be some protocols, or there will be some languages which they will understand among themselves. So these communication technologies, where the electronics and communication people will come into picture. So these communication technologies will be developed by them, and the computing characteristics will be developed by the computer science engineers, and these both will be embedded in the IoT, such that customers can reap the benefits of the IoT system. Okay. Now I am explaining the dimensions. What are the different dimensions in an IoT system? See, they have given 3 dimensions here. One is the any time. So I already told in the characteristics pervasivity. This pervasivity is nothing but the use of this IoT system at any time and at any place. So which is also one more characteristics, any place here. And at the time, anything, by already in the name itself, it is mentioned as Internet of Things. So anything is like you can understand in the form of machine, and you can form in the form of machine, and you can treat it as a human also. So it can be human to human, human to machine, as well as machine to machine also. So all this will be there. So these are the different type of dimensions of IoT. Now I will try to tell you how these connected systems in the IoT interact with each other. See, the modeling, always there is a modeling of any system is very much important to understand what are the different characteristics and different features of the system. So there are 4 layers of abstraction to model IoT. I hope electronic and communication engineers doesn't have the course readily communicate computer networks. I think it will be covered in 4.1. So let me tell you very in a simple manner what this layer structure is. So generally there is one in computer network we can have as OSI layers, like open system interconnection layers. So what are the different type of layers? So these layers means suppose let us assume this Internet of Things is having so many so many things which are interconnected. So all this has to interact with one and each other, and the interaction as well as function of each element in that IoT is different. So first one is the layer 1, means the layers are defined such that it has to define its functionality mainly. But first one is the functionality, and these layers cannot be we cannot make the layers as so many layers such that they will be more clumsier. So let me explain the different layers in this IoT. So here we have defined there are 4 layers in the IoT. So in the layer 1 is the sensing and identification of physical parameter, and layer 2 is network part, and layer 3 is processing and storage, and layer 4 is the application which we are using, which we are able to see and which we are able to realize. So let me explain. The layer 1 is the layer 1 is sensing and identification of physical parameter. So let me tell you one example. Suppose in my home I am using a AC. So first is the sensing part. So first, whenever I switch on the AC, it has to sense the temperature in the presently in the room. So so that is the sensing part, and so this the sensing part is done by the sensors and transducers. Like the different sensing parts are available. So different type of sensors are there to they have to sense the physical parameter which we want to measure, or which we want to control, or which we want to modify. So you understand the first you have to understand what is the sensing part, sensing and identification of physical parameter. That is done in the layer 1 part. So let us assume that we have sensed the physical parameter with the help of sensors. So what this sensing data has to do? So next part is the network. So it has to transmit to some other place where the actual processing has to take place, right? So that will be done by the network part in the IoT. So examples of network part is like personal area network. It might be between you and your phone, Bluetooth between you can also assume it as a Bluetooth between 2 phones, and you can also assume it as a local area network where different type of computers are connected in a same building. And you can also think it as a WAN, wide area network, where more number of computers are connected over a large geographical area. And and it can be of metropolitan area network, which you will understand in the computer networks in the next part. So that is the networking part. So through this networking part, this sensor, whatever the physical parameter which has been sensed by the sensors, so that will be transported over this network to the next part, that is the layer 3, processing and storage, right? So in the layer 3 there is a processing in the layer 3 there is a processing and storage. So whatever the data which has been sensed by the sensors which are present in the physical parameter, so that will be transferred to the processing unit or storage, where the suppose let us assume in my AC in my room I have kept that I want to keep my temperature as a 22 degrees, but presently in my room the temperature was somewhere around 26. So this whatever the parameter like temperature 26, it is sensed and this was transferred through network part, and it is reaching one processing, like in if you consider AC, it should be the processing part should be a compressor. So in the compressor so this whatever the 26 degrees, this will be the input to the compressor, that means in layer 3, and it will process. So and it will later it will give the particular commands inside the AC, and it will try to reduce the temperature to the required temperature. So that will be 23. Let us assume the required temperature is 22. So that will be the processing part. This I am explaining only in the context of the refrigerator, but the same is applicable in the next any other IoT device also. For easy understanding, I am taking the example of a refrigerator. Hope you all understand. And layer 4 is the application part. Application is the I want to keep the temperature at a 22 degrees. That is only application which I want to use. So now the application of IoT, these applications can be of very varied things, which I will in the next slide you will come to know. All of you understand this IoT layered structure, right? Any doubts? Okay, I will show you one daily life example of IoT. Hello. Let me give some regarding this one. This is a one.
You want to open that
which
video, Ganesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. You need to share your browser. After clicking that, you need to share your browser. First, stop the sharing.
Okay.
Okay. And click that link and stop the sharing.
Okay.
Yeah. Click that link and open screen share. Open that browser where that actually link opened.
Hello.
Ganesh.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Did you share it?
1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Ganesh. Waiting.
Yes, sir. Are you able to see, sir?
Yeah. You can play it now.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Let me play a video regarding this one, regarding how we are using the IoT in our day-to-day daily life.
The audio may not come because you need to share the computer audio also. No problem.
Hello.
Yeah. I think you need to share the computer audio also. No problem. We can see it. No problem.
Okay, sir.
Right. Ganesh, students are asking to share that link in the chat
Okay, sir. Okay.
so that they can see it after. No problem.
Okay, sir.
You continue
Yes, sir.
share.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Hello. Have you seen the video how the devices in a particular one family, how they have connected through internet and how they are operating all these devices? I will share this link.
Yeah, students, please reply the chat.
Hello.
You can see the chart, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, fine. Yes, Ganesh, we got the link. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah. Now we will see why we are using the IoT. And from this example of the video, you might have understood why we are using the IoT in our day-to-day life. See, the first point is dynamic control of industry and daily life. Now in the video, you might have seen how the daily life situations are incorporated in the IoT. So in the same way, we can control our daily life also. And in the same time, it was written here as dynamic control of industry. See, uh, if all these things are developed, the industry which is having the industry which is incorporating all these IoT related devices, and this industry will grow leap and bound. So this will be having a very good impact on the industry, in turn economy, and it can create more number of jobs also. And second is the resources utilization ratio. So the resources will be utilized in a very fruitful manner. And third one is the integrating human system and physical system. So in the video you might have seen all these human people are reacting with the physical system through a mobile. So through a mobile, or they are getting the notifications on the mobile. So in this way, both the human system as well as the physical system, which is already available in the nature, so these two can be interlinked for better results. Third one is the universal internetworking. Sorry. In the universal internetworking, you have seen the items which are interconnected through the IoT are like a very different items. It's not the same items which has been interconnected. So in the same way, whatever the network devices or whatever the computing devices which is having the unique IP address, which is having a IP address, so which is having IP address, whether they are whether they are able to transmit the data over a network, all these can be embedded and connected through the IoT system. So in this way, all the internetworking, like whatever the different type of elements in the nature, so they can be interconnected, and in that way we can use all the systems at a time. And third, next one is the act as a technology integrator. Now you have seen in the first slide I have mentioned the IoT can connect different type of things. It can varies from the flight to the home, in your home TV, smartphone. So whatever the technology which we are using in a smartphone or a consumer electronics like TV or refrigerator, the technology is different, and whatever the technology which you are using in the flight services, that will be different. So as a technology integrator, and to connect all these things in a one way, so this IoT is very much useful. Next one is the customer experience. Now you might have seen what is the customer experience. Suppose if you think that you are in that video, what you are feeling is different. So that is the customer experience. Hopefully it is very much good customer experience. And second is the integrates and adapts business models. See, suppose the systems are growing in a very good way, so in the same way, the business of these companies also increase, and all this business model they will integrate and they will come on a common platform. So all this can be done with the help of the IoT. So now I'm going to explain the applications of the IoT. First one is the smart electric grid. So you might be listening. There are some there is the electricity theft. Most of the times it was electricity theft was happening because of the some issues. So if we can implement this smart electric grid technology, so this theft can be minimized, as well as we can able to identify where these things are happening actually, and how we can efficiently transmit the electricity from one place to another place. This is one application. And second one is the smart retail, which I will discuss very clearly once I'll go in the next step. So third one is the healthcare sector. Smart cities. You might have been seeing that in the government of India they have taken a digital initiative to make the smart cities. So how the smart cities has been connected in the video, you might have seen smart cities means in the city most of the it will be like a homes, and these houses will be connected to the nearest government company, nearest government offices, and they can these government offices can monitor I mean to say, suppose in your home something like any problem is there, so they can able to monitor. So many applications are there with respect to smart cities. You can google it also. And next one is the industrial automation. This is one of the most important thing which can change the fate of the industry. So presently in industry there are so many processes running at the same time. So like in if suppose if something one industry, if we want to manufacture any defense related items, so we have to in the defense related structures we have to develop very in so many subsystems will be there. So all these subsystems can be automated with the help of IoT. And consumer electronics, you have seen with referring to smartphone, TV, fridges, refrigerators. So all this can be digital. All these can be used in the IoT with the help of a unique identifier, that is IP address. Wearables like a smartwatch, Fitbit, etc. And automotive transportation and logistics. Now, one example I want to give regarding the smart retail, which we can easily connect everything. So let me explain the application of IoT with respect to smart retail. So let us assume that I went to a shop. I went to let us even for simplicity, let us I went to a Reliance Fresh store to buy some groceries. So after going to presently, what you are seeing is in the most of the cases you might be seeing the what you will call display of the items which are available in that store and what is the rate of that item. Even you might be seeing these type of displays in the stores. So let us go one step ahead. So if you are able to see in the display itself what is the quantity of the item available at that point of time, and what is the rate, so how you will feel, it will be more informative also, right? So in the same way, so let us assume that let me go by step. So after, whenever I am entering a store, so I have if they all are IoT connected, so let us assume that they have given me one card to enter a store. So it's a free card. Let us assume it is a free card. So they have given me one card which I am able to enter a store, as well as they have given me a trolley to carry the items, and also to consider this trolley is also digitally connected through IoT along with the card. So this card as well as this trolley is connected through these two are interlinked now. Okay, so and this card is given to me, that is already it is in the system itself. So whenever I went to the store, I have to enter. So let us assume that there is a one entry gate also, which is also IoT connected. And whenever I show that card, so it will ask me to enter in. So after entering, I will able to see the different type of racks. All these items are arranged in different type of racks. So all these racks are digital racks, where they have given the unique identifier IP address. Okay, so after so then on this IP, on this in the display also it is mentioning that whatever the item we want, that will be available at the particular digital rack in the first floor or second floor. Okay, so after going to that floor, after going to the digital rack, now I want to purchase 1 kg of onions. So I have there is a one bag which is containing 1 kg of onions. So I have picked the item. So after picking the item, so I told that it is a digital rack. So there is one reader in the digital rack where it can you can call it, for simplicity you can call it as a barcode reader. So whatever the item I have picked, that I will show to the barcode reader. So this barcode reader will read the item as well as its price and as well as its quantity, because it was already packed, and it can able to know what is the quantity, how much is the quantity it is having. Okay, so and this so whatever the item I have taken, it was already registered at the digital rack. Now this digital rack can transfer the data, whatever the data it was captured from my from the item. So that will be transferred to the display TV, and in that display TV, it can be shown that 1 kg will be detected. So okay, then you will understand what so for the people who are entering next, so they can able to understand whether the item they want is available at that particular point of time or not. So we in this way we can simplify the process. So now now this is one step. So one more step I want to tell. So after taking the item, I told that I have a digital trolley also with me for carrying the luggage, for carrying, for carrying the items which I want to purchase. Okay, so in my digital rack or in my digital trolley also, there is one more reader which can read the barcode. So I will show that reader also to, I will show that I will show the item to the reader also after after capturing of the information by the reader. I will keep in the trolley. Okay, so this reader, in the same way I will go to different racks and same process I will do multiple times. So whatever the items I want to purchase, I will go to that rack and I will show to the reader in the digital rack, and this information will be transferred to the display TV in the outside. And at the same time, before keeping in my trolley, I will show that item to the digital trolley barcode reader also. So at the same time, your information is captured in the outside display TV as well as in the digital trolley also. Okay, so after doing all my purchase, so let us so I will go to the billing section now. So they will see the billing. One thing also we can do is so whatever the items are there, it was already captured in my barcode reader. So now the billing section can directly read that barcode reader, and they can able to tell that price which I can able to do, which I have to pay. Understand? Understand the example? No. So after doing all these things, so if suppose let us assume even if my digital wallet is also linked to that card, so even the payment process is very much simple. And after doing the payment process, so the billing person will feed in the system, and it will automatically reflect at the entry, whatever the exit gate. So in the entry gate it will be through the card, and in the exit gate it will be through the billing part. So this will be transferred to the exit gate. So whenever we go to that exit gate, they will directly see the card, and this card was already told that billing was already done, everything was paid. So we can directly go to the exit gate. In all this process, you might have seen the simplicity how we can go to a store and we can purchase the items, and we can go with how we can do the billing and how we can come outside. So this is one of the example with respect to smart retail. Hope you all understood. Now, with reference to this example, now I try to explain the challenges. What are the challenges in IoT deployment in the present scenario? Now, see, the first challenge is the high cost of required investment in IoT infrastructure. This is one of the very big challenge, because for installing the IoT infrastructure, we have to digitize all the available racks, like all the available items. We can able to do that. Okay, so whatever the stores which are now are there, that has to be converted to a digital platform. So for that part, if it is a high cost of investment is involved in that IoT infrastructure part. So this is one of the major challenge for the IoT deployment. And second one is the concerns about security and privacy. See, I have told in the earlier example, we can do the payment directly if we can link the card. So this is one of the security concern also, if we consider. So sometimes it may happen that your card, your privacy may be breached, and your security, the card may be some card can be stolen, I mean not stolen, the information with respect to card can be stolen. So that is one of the, it is posing some of the security and privacy threat also. This is one of the challenge for the IoT deployment in all the stores or whatever. So, and lack of knowledge and commitment. So one thing we can also tell is, because this is the emerging technology, and most of the people are already habituated to the earlier things, like we are already habituated to going in the store and purchasing. So this is a normal routine. So if we change this, if we suddenly change this one also, even people also should be habituated to that. So they also able to know that they have to enter the gate. See, in the metro also you might be seeing that we have to enter the gate through card. So in the same way, they have to enter the gate, entry gate through card, and they have to purchase they have to show it to the barcode reader. So managing all these things also somewhat different, means somewhat difficult for the normal person with reference to knowledge and commitment. And second is the weaknesses in organization, technology, infrastructure. See, whatever the already I told. So if you go to any smart retail shop, you might be seeing the billing section. So all these are connected to a particular server or router will be there, which is inside which is at the back end. They are able to process all these things. So whatever the router or server, whatever the network elements they have purchased may not be upgradable to the next level. Means, I mean to say, they may not be upgradable to the IoT level. So for that part, they have to purchase everything once again, which involves the high cost of required investment. So that is also one of the challenge in the IoT deployment in the present scenario. And fourth one is the regulation part relating to data privacy. So whenever the regulation part is coming, then government role will come into picture. So government, the government has having so many regulations, like in telecom also you might be seeing that whatever the whatever the power radiated from the tower should not cross the limit. So there is some regulation part coming into the picture from the government side. So that is in the telecom scenario. Here I am telling with respect to data privacy. So whenever your card is already like your credit card or debit card, whatever is already linked, then there may be chance of data theft. So that will come as a data privacy. That will come in the part of regulation. And next one is the immaturity of industry standard around the IoT. So as this is an emerging technology, presently it was not being deployed in all industry standards. Like in most of the industries, we as a like a very small part of is automated, and most of the things are going like manual part only. So changing because they have also to be adopted to that particular industry standard. Then only this deployment is easily possible in the industry. And second is the undeveloped consumer awareness. So most of the consumers, as I told in the previous part, lack of knowledge and commitment. So most of the consumer may not be aware and may not be adapt to the new technology, like they have to show the barcode reader and everything. They may not be adaptable. So this is one of the challenge. And coming to these challenges, what are the action points which we can take, which the companies can take to overcome? So first one is the seeking advice from the third party experts and consultants. So we have to take the advices from the consultancy part, where they are having the already knowledge or experience. So we have to take the advices from the consultants. And second is the learning from the successor or failures of early movers. See, for any technology to emerge, always they are having uh, for any technology, there is always success and failures are always a part and parcel. So we have to learn from the failures and we have to go ahead. So then only things will happen, and slowly we can move towards the successes. So this is part and parcel of life. And third one is that training existing staff to work with the IoT. This is also one of the important in any company or in any industry also. So there is one thing called competency development, which is very much important for any professional. Even if after your graduation also, you have to develop your competency up to the industry mark. Then only it is very good for you also. So we have to train the existing staff which is already working in these connected technologies up to the IoT level mark. Then we can do the competency enhancement also in for the existing staff. And fourth one is conducting or sponsoring research to establish market size and demand. Understand the term market size and demand. See, always market is driven by the two forces. One is the demand and one is the supply. So we have to do a research how the market, how many people are willing to take my product. If I implemented the IoT, how many people in the market are able to use my product, and how I can do the calculation demand and supply part. So this is one thing which is to be done by every company, not only in IoT, even if any industry also, they will definitely do the demand and supply part, because that is the only thing where the market moves. So we have to, conducting and sponsoring research is very much important to establish the market demand, how much is the demand and all. And establishing a cross-functional task force to explore and or pursue IoT opportunities. See, cross-functional task force. This cross-functional task force involves people from various lives, various like some from technology part, some from the like different some from the technology, and some from the administration part. Like different people will come and they will form a task force, and they will sit and discuss how we can explore these opportunities and how we can implement these in our industry or in our institution or organization. So cross functional task force is a very important thing which they have to do. And second is the establishing new business models. See, always the business is driven by these business models, how they want to market their product. See, suppose if they have made any product, they have to market how it can be useful, how this is changing your life, how you have to make use of this product for in your day-to-day life. In the video also you might be seeing that so many in the video you might be seeing so many consumer electronics are there, how they are changing the lives of a day-to-day life of the people in that video. So we have to form the new business models and even test cases, how this technology can be useful in a particular test case, and you have to demonstrate these test cases. Then only people will understand that okay, this test case is there, so this we can use in my business. Then only they will able to purchase those businesses. So you understand. So making a business model is also very much important. And raising fresh capital to explore IoT option. So this point already I have explained earlier also. High cost of investment is involved. So even the same time we have to raise the capital also. We have to raise the capital through third parties or through market to explore IoT options. And hiring manpower with IoT capabilities. We can do the existing staff also. We can do that competency enhancement, or we can directly hire from the market manpower which are already having IoT capabilities. So establishing joint ventures or alliances to exploit IoT opportunities. So in a developing country like India, we can also always do the joint ventures or alliances with the already developed countries, so that they can do the transfer of technology to our country, and we can also develop from the transfer of technology. So in that part, already in India we are already having so many companies are there. We are already doing the transfer of technology from Israel, US. So we have to form a joint venture with that company, and there are some terms and conditions how to guide these ventures. and establishing an IoT center of excellence. See, after learning after having knowledge on IoT, so a person he has to impart the knowledge to some other people through the one establishing. Suppose if an organization is spending some amount on a person to learn the IoT technologies, so after taking the training and all, he has to impart the technology to the other people through the one in their organization, and acquiring a business or assets with IoT capabilities. This is self-explanatory. And you see, there is one more challenges which are facing during the because as it is still in the developing phase, so research has to be done extensively. So what are the different type of research challenges which we are facing now? And first one is the scalability. What different, how many people are there, how many IoT connected devices are there. So there are massive number of devices which needs to be connected also, which needs to be connected to the IoT system. And you understand one thing, in my slide I have mentioned there is in the layered architecture, layer 3, there is one slide I have mentioned as processing and storage. See, you have seen so many devices are connected in one home. Let us assume in the one home which I have shown in the video. So in one home itself, so many devices are connected. So all these connected devices, they have to transmit the data to some other next part. So for transmission of data, network part is there, and next part is the processing as well as storage. So this processing and storage, we need so much data centers also we need. So maintaining a data center is a very difficult task. You will understand whenever you join industry. Data center is nothing but it is having so many servers and most of the interconnected computer devices like networks, bridges, hubs, router, switches. So all this will be interconnected in the data center, and all this will be, and so many hard disks are also placed in the data center. So whatever data you have sent, whatever the data sent by the sensors will be kept in the hard disk drive. So while using for making because of this massive number of devices, more amount of data is generated, and this data has to be transferred over a secured network also, because security is also a prime concern if we consider the challenges. So you have to maintain a secured network, and from the secure network you have to reach the data center part. So in the data center you have to this data has to be processed, and for processing this data you need so many algorithms and coding also. So all these should work in a interlinked way, then only the correct data will be processed and that will be transferred to the application part. So because of this massive number of devices, so much data will be generated, and so much I mean to say, we need so much capability of the data center should be more. That is one part in the mainly in the research part. And the second is the handle data generated by massive number of devices. Whatever I told, the data generated, because 50 billion devices and the data generated by it, it's very huge. So for maintaining these, we need the cloud computing also, because data center is cannot be maintained at a enterprise level, because maintenance of the data center is a very tough task, because we have to keep the data center always 24/7. It should be on, and whatever the spare parts required for the data center, it should be always available with us, and skilled manpower also required to maintain the data center. Okay, so this is one of the challenge faced by this technology. And third one is the reliable coverage. So let me tell you what is the meant by reliable coverage. See, first in the layered architecture, I have mentioned one first layer is the sensing and identification part. So in the sensing part, there is you can, in the market so many types of sensors are available. One is having sensitivity less, and one is having sensitivity more. Because if sensitivity is sensitivity or the how many like you can also in the useful lifetime also you can consider. So all this will come under reliable coverage. So you have to select the item in such a way that it has to ensure sensitivity should be more, as well as its lifetime also should be good. then only the reliable coverage, like reliable use of information generated. Like suppose in the example like AC, so whatever the temperature which is present already in the room is something like 26, because of the sensor is not highly sensitive, then it may take the temperature as some 27, 28, which is wrong. So in the reliable coverage, the sensors which we are using, they should be reliable. Then only exact data will be transmitted from one part to next part. So that is the reliable coverage part. And see, second one is the move cloud services to the edge of the network. See, move cloud services to the edge of the network. See, edge of the network means the network which we have constructed in the layer 2. So I told in the layer 2, this is transport part, like whatever the parameter, physical parameter is sensed, that will be transported to the third layer through network part. So this the third layer is generally like a data center, which is like, which is more or less like a cloud. Presently in the enterprise level we cannot maintain the data center, so it will be maintained at the high level, like Amazon cloud service, Cisco cloud service is there. So they are maintaining the data center and we are transferring our data to their data center. So from their data center, process data will be processed and it will again sent back to us. Okay. So these cloud services should be near to the network, because there should not be transportation lag between the network second layer to layer 3. Suppose there are some critical activities, so let us assume that we are doing uh, one operation on a person through this through the online operation they are doing with the help of a robot. So let us assume in the remote part there is one doctor who is guiding all the operation in the site, in the for a doctor who is present at the person. So let us assume he has sent one data, that he has told one command that do this operation. I mean do this thing. So this data should reach to the remote set in a very minimal time. So latency should be very less, then only it can be happen. So if latency is less, it means transport part is taking very much less time. Understand, transport part should take very much less time. So this meaning is, whatever then our network part which is able to transport and this processing is time, so between these two, layer 2 and layer 3, the latency should be very much minimum, then only tasks will be done in a real time manner. Because if I am speaking on a phone, it should reach you in a real time. If I am speaking now and if you are reaching the voice is reaching after 2 minutes, then there is no point of talking. So latency should be minimum. This is the fourth part. And reduce data to be stored. Whatever in the second part I told, very much data is generated in a huge amount. So we have to do the research in such a way that this data, whatever the data is producing by the million number of devices, that should be minimized, so that we can maintain the data center in a very efficient manner. So these are some of the research challenges. And second is the power consumption problem. See, suppose if the number of devices are increasing day by day, so power consumption also increased. At the same time, even the power consumption for devices are increased. At the same time, whatever the data center which we are maintaining at the remote location also, for that also power consumption is there. So for them also it is like a power consumption is increased. That is one of the issue. And second is the interoperability. uh, See, interoperability means I have told the, like interoperability is like, you can understand in the one way, like see, one example I can quote. See, you might have been seeing Apple phone as well as Android phone. So which one do you feel comfortable? Generally comfortable, both are okay, but generally which phone is having more reach to the customers? Is Android or iPhone? Most of the people, you might be agreeing with Android is having most far reach to the customers. Why it is so? It is a openware, open software. Android is a open source, and whereas iPhone source is the proprietary, which was maintained by the Apple Incorporation. So interoperability between so even in you consider the apps also, there will be apps are different for the Google, as I mean to say Android, as well as apps are different for the Apple. So there is the interoperability issues there. In the same way, if you, in the first slide I mentioned, there are so many things which can be connected through the IoT technologies. So all these things they are having. See, let us assume one my phone. Let us assume my phone is having one USB type of input. Some other phone is having some VGA type of input. Some other item is having the RS-232 port. So all these ports has to be interoperable. So they have to. So research has to be done in such a way that even if the data is transmitted from USB port, it should reach the RS-232 port through this network. So this interoperability is very much important. Understand? This is the meaning of interoperability. And second is the heterogeneity of sensors. See, in the first layer one I have mentioned, there are sensing part. So the sensing part is so much different. You can understand, let us assume in the video you might be seeing that whenever their grandfather and grandmother are entering, the CCTV is there in the entrance, so it has to sense the images. So that sensor is different. That is one sensor. And second one is, when in the video you might be seeing that one notification came that refrigerator door was open. So that sensor is again a different. So all these sensors are different. So this is heterogeneity is nothing but the different type of sensors. So this in the same way, this is two examples I have given. So let us assume in future some other source is also there, some other thing is also there. So it might be having some other sensing part. So for that sensing part also we have to develop a sensor. Understand? For developing the sensor, research is involved also. So these are some of the research challenges. And second is the interface to cloud servers. So I have told cloud services to the edge of the network. Means cloud service, you can in a simple way you can understand it as a data center. So how these data centers are interfaced to our sensing part with the help of this transport network layer. So this also posing a significant challenge in the research challenge. And next part is the pros and cons. So what are the different pros and cons in the IoT technology? So first part, let me start with the pros. So ability to access information from anywhere and anytime. This is one of the dimensions of the IoT which I have mentioned: any place, anytime, anything. So and it is also called pervasivity. Pervasivity also one of the characteristics of the IoT. So we can access the information from anywhere and anytime also. And second is the improved communication between connected electronic devices. See, in the example of a smart retail, I have explained how these electronic devices are communicating between each other, and so that information is transferred. Improved communication. See, whenever you after entering the retail, you will understand that if it before entering the retail itself, you can understand that your item is not there. You need not to waste time going inside the retail, right? So the communication was improved between these connected electric devices so that we can understand easily. And third one is transferring data packets over a connected network, saving time and money. And I told in the earlier part in the smart retail, after capturing of information on the data reader, so my data is already reaching the billing part, that this much information is all this much items he has already taken, and this much is the billing amount. So we can save the time at the billing section. This is what I want to tell with this line. And next part is the automating task, helping to improve the quality of the business services. So whenever if the tasks are automated, see in the previous you might be seeing that if you in the earlier part, suppose if you send one letter, so you there is the acknowledgement part is also there. Now it was now the acknowledgement part you will able to see in the directly in the, if you after the email communication, you can able to see that it was automated, and you will get the acknowledgement at the same time only. So mainly human intervention will not be there in that part. And these are some of the pros of IoT and cons of IoT. And first one is the possibility of stealing confidential information. Confidential information increases. See, previously also I had told regulation part relating to the data privacy of an individual. So if the confidential information was stolen, then it is a very big issue with respect to government regulation part. So this is one of the cons of IoT, because in the IoT part, most of all of your devices are connected through a internet, and all of these devices are communicating among themselves, right? There is a possibility of stealing confidential information. Second part is collecting and managing data will be challenging. In the previous slide also I mentioned, so collecting and managing data, because this much number of devices, they are sending the information to a remote data center, and maintaining this network from your place to the data center, the network part is also a very difficult task. So maintaining the network is also a difficult task, and at the same time collecting and managing data at the remote site, which mean to say the cloud service, or else you can call it as a data center, is also a challenging task. And third one is the possibility of bug. See, let us if any bug is present in the software developed, so it will automatically leads to corruption of files and may generate wrong signal. If suppose if any bug is there and you are able to know what the signal is sending in the processing part, so algorithm will interpret in some other way and it can give a wrong signal which may lead to very disaster. See, suppose if you assume one example in the vehicle, nowadays you are seeing the driverless vehicle, so which was possible through IoT technologies also. So suppose if any bug is there, so it has given a signal which has to be moved right, then it has went left, so it will be like a potential disaster. It can lead to a accident also. So possibility of bug in the system eventually lead to corruption of files and it will generate a wrong signal. That is the main problem. And fourth one is the interoperability and standardization issues. In previously, I told one example between Android and iPhone. So interoperability between these two items means not only these two. I mean, I just example I have told these two items are not interoperable anyway. So I mean to tell whatever the items which whatever the things which we are connecting to the internet of in our IoT system. So they have to interoperable. Like so whatever the data sent by a USB cable, it should be able to meet the VGA standards, or it should be able to do the RS-232 protocol. So many different type of protocols are also there. So they have to be interoperable. And standardization issues. See, standardization, you have seen. Suppose if there is one IEEE institution is there, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. Generally they develop some standards. So like suppose if you consider Wi-Fi, so 802.11, 802.11 BGN is the standard developed by the IEEE for the Wi-Fi. So all over India, all over world, who are developing the product, like suppose Wi-Fi routers. So whatever the product they are developing, they have to satisfy the requirements of this Wi-Fi. Then only they can able to sell this item to the next part. Because whenever any product is manufactured, before it reaching to the customer, it will go through different type of quality checks as well as different type of standardization checks also. So quality checks will be done at the their company level, and standardization checks will be given to some one item, it will be given to a lab, and they will check whether the protocols are meeting or not, whether the required standards are meeting or not. So the standardization is very much important. Because see, you might be seeing that generally USB cable, it will be size is very much fixed always. If you one classic example is in USB cable which you are using in a phone. So this USB cable, whatever in your phone or some other phone, it will actually fit into the same place. It will not change because the USB cable standard was already standardized. USB cable, they have mentioned that this should be the length, this should be the height, this should be the width. So it was already standardized, and the companies which are producing that part, they will generally fix it to the standard. Then only it will be sold in the market, or else it cannot be sold. So that is the standardization part. So these are the some of the cons of IoT. So if you consider all these pros and cons and whatever the information I have given, so there are some pros as well as cons for the IoT technology. So if you consider the ease with which we are communicating, or with which we are using the system, so it will always outweigh the cons. Because cons also, they are having information part is there, but which can be manageable through research. But it can be manageable through research. So in this way we can avoid cons. And this is my part. If anyone is having any doubt, please ask. Any doubts and suggestions which you want to give? Hope you understood the IoT technology.
Students, you can post your questions in the chat. Students, if you have any questions, please post that in the chat.
Sure. Yeah, Ganesh, there is some question from Ashwin, Sai Ashwin. He is asking a question that due to this, most of the employment is reduced. That is the question.
This is one of the aspect the employment is reduced, but you can also think in other way. By I mean to say, if you understand these technologies and you can also be part of employer and you can give the employment also. It is not that way. This is one way employment is reduced. That I will agree. But another part is you can also think how this technology was changing.
Yeah, Manohar Naidu is asking any internships and job opportunities readily available in this area.
Presently, in India, I don't have any ideas regarding, but in international world, there is some companies like Amazon and Cisco. They are already implementing these IoT services. So in that we can get the job opportunities or internships, because IoT is already implemented in some of the areas like Cisco, as well as IoT, Cisco, General Electric. They are already implementing, so we can get the job opportunities as an internship in that area.
Yeah, one more question by Akhil. That is there any IoT innovation to reduce the spread of corona?
Yeah, definitely. See, one thing I have told, there is one unique identifier which we have given. Okay, so let us assume that people who are already having the corona, or people who are already in home quarantine. So there is one app which we are already developed by the Department of Telecom. So we need not to go directly up to the IoT itself. I mean to say IoT to reduce the spread of corona. So let me tell you one app which was already developed by the Department of Telecom. See, uh, 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 government is giving wide publicity that people who are already coming in contact with the primary contacts, please do register. So after registering, you have to provide your phone number. So from this phone number, so Department of Telecom is developed one app where your location will be identified, and whenever you are going out of your home around 300 meter, so alert message will be given to you as well as the local police authority also, such that you need not such that it will be the spread of the corona will be stopped. I mean, not only stop, I mean to say it will be reduced something, because they are able, because the spread of the corona mainly because people are moving from one to other place without the knowledge of the enforcement authorities. So in this way we can do the spread of corona can be reduced.
Yeah, Ganesh, one more question from Lalita. That is, by increasing the protocol strengths, can we reduce the data theft?
Yes, definitely. Because in computer network, you might be having, there is one protocol like FTP and SFTP. So FTP is like file transfer protocol and secured file transfer protocol also. And even you can see in the HTTPS also. This if we increase the protocol strength, and it will be definitely can be done. And research is also going on in this area.
Yeah. Yeah, Ganesh, you covered a retail example of this IoT utilization.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it really implemented or going to be implemented? This is the question from Venkat Satyasai.
Sir, it is not yet implemented. So it is going to be implemented.
Okay, Sai, that is going to be implemented. That model is not. It is like, I think, prototype tested or what?
Prototype testing was already done, sir.
Okay. One more person Narva Chandrasekhar is asking a question: how to address the coverage problems in IoT?
Coverage, I didn't understand. What do you mean by coverage?
And Chandrasekhar, you can unmute yourself, or you can put your question in an elaborative way. I think most probably is a range of the IoT applications. Most probably that is his question probably. But
Sorry,
anyhow,
sir,
we will wait for his detailed question.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. One more question is there from Harshavardhan.
Yes, sir.
That is, I want to establish my network of a product which must be professional and confidential all out the India. Does any permissions required? If required, which type of organizations gives these permissions?
No, which network of product? Network of a product. What is that product name? I mean to say, what is the product category? Then only we can tell which organization you have to reach for this.
You can give an example. For example, he is producing a smart router. What type of organization permission he is supposed to take it up?
So in our already suppose if you want to take a router, so there is one organization called Telecom Engineering Center in New Delhi.
Yes.
In the presently they are doing the standardization operations. We can give that product to the TEC and they will give the certification also to this product.
One more question by Narva Chandrasekhar. You have mentioned in the challenges.
Yes. Reliable coverage. Understood.
Yeah.
Hello, Narva Chandrasekhar. Yeah, reliable coverage. I have told. See, in the layer 1, I have mentioned there is a sensing and identification part. So in the sensing part, we are having different type of sensors and different type of sensitivity attached to them also. Okay. So whatever with respect to sensitivity as well as with respect to the lifetime of the sensors. Suppose if we have incorporated one type of sensors from one company which is having some lifetime. So we have to take care of the lifetime as well as sensitive, how much it is about to sense. Like let us assume in the example of a AC. So the sensor which is sensing my room temperature. Let us assume my room temperature is somewhere around 26. So it should sense. It has it 26 degrees only. It should not go beyond. I mean to say, it should not sense it as a wrong way. That coverage means how that sensor is able to cover the actual physical parameter.
Yeah. So Ganesh, we will stop here. If there are any questions there, I think you have given your mail ID to them. They'll be in touch with you.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Personally, I am telling you, I also got a lot of knowledge because we are reading about IoT, but we don't know what is this. But as a layman, not from the electronics and computers area, but I also got a very good knowledge. Your presentation is absolutely fantastic. Even a layman also can understand the basics and how this IoT is going to rule the business in the coming years. Thank you very much, Ganesh.
Thank you, sir.
I request Balasubramaniam sir and online. I request Balasubramaniam sir to give concluding remarks and also vote of thanks from our side. Balasubramaniam sir, over to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
I think Balasubramaniam sir, you should unmute yourself.
Balasubramaniam sir, mic is not audible, sir. I've unmuted him.
It's audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
On the behalf of I'm very happy to see Mr. Ganesh, right? You have achieved, joined Department of Telecom through Engineering Services. It's a great pride for the department as well of EC as well as the college. So once again, I congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question which you can speak like as a beginner. What is the hardware and the software platforms one may start maybe at the first year level or second year level, so that he can later on go and join for the development of the IoT technology? You have spoken of all the issues. Maybe 2 or 3 lines you can add regarding the hardware learning as well as the software learning, maybe the language or maybe the hardware board, so you can advise the students.
No, sir. I'm not able to listen, sir. Can you once again? Sir? Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it's audible.
Yes. Sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, please.
Yeah. Can you speak about something about the hardware and the software components
Yes, sir.
related to IoT technology?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. Can I start, sir?
Yeah, please.
See, in the modeling part, I have mentioned in the layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. So in most of the hardware part, it comes in the layer 2 and layer 3. Because in layer 2, we have to see the transport, how this data from the sensing part is reaching the processing. So in the transport, in the network part, we are using the WAN wide area network, and how this in the wide area network we are interconnecting different type of networks. So whenever the interconnection part of network comes, the mainly routers will come into picture. So these are the main hardware component, as well as routers, gateways, hubs, bridges, which you can all the students can study in the computer networks. That is mainly the hardware part. And the software part is already Cisco language. There is one language which I'm not able to recollect now, which we have learned in training. So that is there, but I can come back once again regarding this software part.
Okay, maybe something like Python language or etc. These will they help actually for IoT deployment?
Not Python. So there is one more language is there which I am unable to recollect right now, but I'll come back to this part, software and language part, software language part.
I once again thank on the behalf of the Gayatri Vidya Parishad College of Engineering, Venkatrao sir, Girish sir for organizing the contemporary technology on IoT. I thank Ganesh Kumar for having given a very excellent lecture. This is a huge participation is there. Almost more than 300 students have participated. So once again, I thank all directly or indirectly who has contributed to make this program a grand success. Definitely our students will approach to you for clarification, and I wish you all the best also. And it's again, once again, I repeat that it's a great pride being an alumni of our institute. You have qualified for IES, so this is a great pride both for our EC department as well as GVP College of Engineering. So thank you one and all.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Without your cooperation, it is not possible, sir. Because in 4 years, I have studied in Gayatri, and I have learned so many things from our college, and whatever the things which I have learned, which I have learned in the Gayatri Vidya Parishad College, I am using in my current profession also. I am very much thankful to GVP College management. And
Sir, Venkatrao sir, you can also say a few words of appreciation.
Yeah, Ganesh, absolutely. We are very much happy to see Gayatrians achieving heights like you. You are a real example and the role model for the next generation. And the way you presented today, it is definitely, I can understand you have a deep knowledge in it, and you are in touch with the all latest things. And you are the people who are the brand ambassadors for GVP. You are raising the flag of GVP. Various industries, telecom industry, our person is there and doing wonderfully well. We are very happy, and really as a teachers, we are proud by seeing people like you and achievement of people like you. So very much thankful to you on behalf of entire management of GVP, students, faculty of GVP. We are very much thankful to you. We will once again after this lockdown, please see some time to come to the college and address the students after recovering from this. Please, you are the real example for the students. Thank you very much, and have a nice day ahead. And convey our regards to your parents, and best wishes to your children and your wife. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Students, have a nice day ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.